Look what Donald Trump has to do to save his office wife, Alina Habba, and have her keep her job as the acting interim U.S. attorney in New Jersey. Violate the U.S. Constitution. Another scandal, another abuse of power being led by Donald Trump, manipulating his Department of Justice head, Pam Bondi, who came up sick and lame, had an eye issue, an injury, didn't want to appear before the media after the new reporting that she told Donald Trump all about him being inside the Epstein files. We break it all down for you on Legal AF, the podcast, and here's a clip. Speaking of injustice, we've got Alina Habba, of course, appointed acting interim U.S. attorney for my home state, the Garden State of New Jersey, and spent the last 120 days destroying morale of the 130 people, assistant U.S. attorneys in that office, the fifth largest in America, destroying morale, making people want to run and leave, prosecuting elected officials, arresting and then dismissing charges against a black mayor of Newark, going after the governor, going after the attorney general in order to turn the blue state red, which she self-confessed. That's what her job is, she thinks. And so it was no surprise that being blocked by the two senators of New Jersey, who are both Democrats, Senators Booker and Kim, she's not getting her blue slip that's required under Senate protocol to take her out of the if she even went through a confirmation process to get her out. She doesn't have the votes to do that. They don't override the blue slips for obvious reasons. They don't want to, when they lose the House, the Senate, and the presidency, the Democrats, they want to be able to continue to block judges. So they don't want to set that precedent. So she knows she's toast. So she, under the statute that relates to a vacancy, if she can't get approved in 120 days, the judges, the federal judges of that district, pick the new acting interim until the president can come back around and pick somebody else either to put in the job or get confirmed. And that's what they did. They picked a long-time career prosecutor, Republican, and they picked her for the temporary position of acting interim. She was already in the office. She was the first assistant, deputy assistant to Alina Habba. But that's not what Donald Trump wants. And that's not what he wants for his office wife and his political hack. He wants her to get the job. And so Pam Bondi just did something. Talk about what Pam Bondi just did and what you think they're going to do given the precedent of what they just did in the Northern District of New York in terms of trying to appoint Habba for the job.
So as you said, Popok, Habba was appointed as an interim United States attorney, which happens a lot. And usually during that time, you go before the Senate and you get Senate confirmed because they are required to be Senate confirmed to be the United States attorney. And she wasn't going to get it. She couldn't get onto the Senate floor. And there is a congressional statute that allows the judges of the district to install their own United States attorney. And they've done this before multiple times throughout history. And sometimes they do it with the person who is the interim and convert them into the U.S. attorney. They've done that in New York and in New Jersey in the past. And she was hoping to get that same treatment here. But I think it was 17 judges, the district court judges in New Jersey, all unanimously said, no way, she's not qualified. And she's not. I mean, look, she's never been a prosecutor or a defense attorney other than representing Donald Trump, failing miserably, but she has no prosecution experience. And she certainly has no business leading such a prestigious office that does such important work. So she had, her number two was a woman who is a career prosecutor who's worked there. She was a Republican and worked there for, I think, more than a decade. And she was Alina Habba's number two, her chief assistant. And they elevated her to that position. And by all accounts, she was qualified. And so the judges said, no, we're not going to give it to you, Alina Habba. Your term expired. It either expired yesterday or it expires Friday, depending on when the 120-day clock starts. She was nominated 120 days from yesterday, but she wasn't officially appointed and sworn in until it would be Friday, would be the 120th day. But so they all unanimously voted that this woman her name is Desiree, I can't remember her last name, that she is going to be the United States attorney. And so she, I believe, was United States attorney for a brief period of time. And then she was fired. And she was fired by Pam Bondi. And so that leaves potentially the District of New Jersey with no United States attorney. And because of that, a lot of criminal defense attorneys are wondering, okay, we're going to move to dismiss all 1,200 cases. And I think the federal defenders are working to do that right now, to move to dismiss all the cases that are pending before there, because there is no United States attorney there. Now, the question, though, is because this woman was appointed by the judges, can Pam Bondi fire her? And it seems clear, so I did a little research into this because it's coming up in our cases about what it is. And so I wanted to know the answer to this in detail. And the question is, can the attorney general fire a court-appointed United States attorney? And that's really the question. And what seems pretty clear is that the president can. And that has come up in several cases in the past. So just to go over the law really quick. So an attorney general does not have the power or authority to remove a U.S. attorney appointed by the court pursuant to 28 United States Code Section 546D. However, 28 United States Code 541C provides that each United States attorney is subject to removal by the president. So in 1979, the Justice Department Office of Legal Counsel published an opinion concluding that presidents can remove court-appointed U.S. attorneys. And the opinion states that usually the power to appoint carries with it the power to remove, but 28 U.S.C. Section 541C is an exception because Congress specifically delegated that to the president and gave them the power to remove United States attorneys. So it seems fairly clear that Bondi can't do it, but Trump can. I assume she had his permission, and so that's where we are. But right now, we're kind of without a U.S. attorney. So I don't know what's going to happen. I know your theory is that Trump's going to elevate her and make her kind of like special counsel, almost like what Jack Smith was, right? The special United States special attorney general. Oh, he did? Oh,
yeah,
great.
well, no, I don't mean he did it here. He did it with a judge.
Oh, yeah. He did it with the guy from the Northern District of New York, correct?
Right.
Sarconi, or his name? Yeah.
So they've already done it. I mean, they just did it 2 weeks ago. So just to get out of the shorthand world for our audience, there's a provision. I'm saying there's a provision in the Constitution that the Attorney General can appoint other types of attorneys. They call them special attorneys. That's been seen as something like a special counsel that doesn't require Senate confirmation. The irony here is, of course, that the Trump administration argued that Jack Smith was not a special attorney, as that term is used, and had to go through Senate confirmation, and somehow, of course, got Eileen Cannon, the judge down in the Mar-a-Lago case, to agree with them, first time in 200 years, that the special counsel, a judge declared that they had to go through Senate confirmation. But special attorney means something. And so what they've determined it means is that they can appoint somebody, a special attorney, indefinitely with all of the powers of a U.S. attorney, and then put them back in their position to avoid Senate confirmation and the rest. We also have a recess appointment issue coming up here. So I'm not sure whether they're going to do that or they're just going to shove her into that job with a recess appointment and just claim it's an Article 2 power of his now that the Senate and the House is going into recess. And she would stay in that position on a recess appointment until the midterms. And there's a whole bunch of people he's going to have to try to shove through. We're going to see a whole bunch of recess appointments. He hasn't gotten one federal judge confirmed. He hasn't gotten one U.S. attorney confirmed in 6 months. So, and even though it's never been used before in the history, a recess appointment to appoint a judge to a position, because it's supposed to be a lifetime appointment, watch. He'll try to shove Emil Bovee into the Third Circuit Court of Appeals, his former criminal defense lawyer, and have him sit there for a year and a half and then see what happens at the midterms, just to stick it to America and the Constitution. So we haven't heard the last of Alina Habba. I mean, right now they haven't filled the position, although when you and I wake up in the morning, that could be, of course, changed. Welcome back. That podcast has been going strong for the last 5 years at the intersection of law and politics. We call it Legal AF for a reason. We do it on Wednesdays and Saturdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. I co-founded the show with Ben Meiselas, the Midas Touch Network. We co-founded also the Legal AF YouTube channel. Come on over to Legal AF YouTube and hit the free subscribe button as well. We sit at the intersection of law and politics, so you don't have to. We do it twice a week, and then pick us up on audio podcast platforms. That helps as well. Leave 5-star reviews. Send this clip off to friends in your life. Ask them to join our movement as part of their journey. So until my next report, I'm Michael Popok. I'm Michael Popok, and I got some big news for our audience. Most of you know me as the co-founder of Midas Touch's Legal AF and the Legal AF YouTube channel, or as a 35-year national trial lawyer. Now, building on what we started together on Legal AF, I've launched a new law firm, the Popok Firm, dedicated to obtaining justice through compassionate and zealous legal representation. At the Popok Firm, we are focused on obtaining justice for those who have been injured or damaged by a life-altering event by securing the highest dollar recoveries. I've been tirelessly fighting for justice for the last 35 years, so my own law firm organically building on my Legal AF work just feels right. And I've handpicked a team of top-tier trial fighters and settlement experts throughout all 50 states known as big auto injury attorneys who have the know-how to beat heartless insurance companies, corporations, government entities, and their attorneys. Big Auto's attorneys working with my firm are rock stars in their respective states and collectively responsible for billions of dollars in recoveries. So if you or a loved one have been on the wrong side of a catastrophic auto, motor vehicle, rideshare, or truck accident, suffered a personal injury, or been the victim of medical malpractice, employment harassment or discrimination, or suffered a violation of your civil and constitutional rights, then contact the Popok Firm today at 1-877-POPOK-AF or by visiting my website at www.thepopokfirm.com and fill out a free case evaluation form. And if we determine that you have a case and you sign with us, we don't get paid unless you do. The Popok Firm, fighting for your justice every step of the way.